Today on One, your daily dose of local affairs and social media commentary.
Today on One, Africa left behind in COVID-19 vaccine race. Youth Leagues question allocation of fish quotas to presidential children. Moses Gareb councillor reiterates commitment for relocations. And Japan ready to host Olympic Games.
The heads of state of Namibia and Botswana have spoken against the unequal distribution of the COVID-19 vaccine around the globe. Most developed countries have started to vaccinate their populations against behind. Africa is yet to receive the COVID-19 doses months after developed countries have rolled out. Most all nations from the second most populous continent will depend on the COVAX facility, a global initiative aimed at ensuring that poor nations have equal access to doses. During bilateral talks at State House, President Geingob and his Botswana counterpart Mokgweetsi Masisi acknowledged this issue and both stressed that vaccines should be made available to all people.
Vaccines should be for all human beings. It shouldn't belong to rich or those who are advanced. But as the world is, already in America, people are vaccinated. Second rounds are also taking place. Africa is, as usual, being left out. But we shouldn't leave ourselves out. That's why the President said we are doing our own best. We discussed privately, besides what we have already committed ourselves to, with individual approaches, like countries like Canada and so on, to also not just sit down, because we want to, even if we get 20% and so on, it not be enough for our people. So two of us, our own personal capacities, officially, are trying our best to also explore other avenues. All we can say is that as we are telling all these things, who likes them? We are all serious about this matter. It's affecting our people, especially we are more affected than you, because you are more disciplined, maybe culture, you know. But here people don't want to listen.
Leader of Botswana said the current global scenario of unequal distribution should not be a surprise, as it is a developmental issue. He further said the vaccines will arrive, but the time taken will come at the cost of human lives.
Yes, we are committed to COVAX. We have subscribed, both of our countries, to the COVAX program, wherein we'd get about 20% of the vaccine, so 20% to inoculate 20% of our populations. But we're also committed to the African plan through the AU. But that in itself is insufficient to realize sufficient herd immunity. And so that's why we are shopping. We are looking where we could procure vaccine. We have decided to collaborate in the space of activities that are prerequisite to the beginning of an immunization program to prevent, masking, the science behind the management of this virus through testing, resulting, reporting, research, etc. As to the date on which you can get a shot in your arm, We are not yet there because we've still got to finalize the date of actual procurement. But that does not stop our teams from readying the system, both the health systems, so that when the vaccine does become available, we don't start the planning, we roll out and we vaccinate. In the meantime, we urge, beg, plead all of you to observe the health protocols. Very simple. Avoid traveling. I know I'm traveling, but, to avoid traveling except when it's totally necessary.
Masisi said the continent should learn from the current challenge as a form of world economic reality and relations. He noted that development should be led by intellectual capital and rely less on the export of raw materials and unprocessed goods.
Fall in love with layers. Feel as good as you look. In ladies' woven dresses, just $179.99. Why pay more? Effortless style. Any day, anywhere. Get much more in store. Life's better with Pep.
As investigators dive deeper into the fish rot scandal, the biggest corruption case to rock Namibia's ocean economy, Today on One spoke to Youth League members from various opposition parties to solicit their views over the alleged shares owned by the children of former President Hifikepunye Pohamba and current President Hage Geingob in Tunakor, a Namibian fishing company. Tunakor Fisheries Limited has been accused of enjoying preferential treatment in the allocation of fishing quotas by former Fisheries Minister Bernard Esau, who is currently in custody with former Justice Minister Saki Shangala and several other suspects for masterminding the fish rot scandal. Maximilian Tkachimune, the Youth League spokesperson of the Popular Democratic Movement, states that student leaders for years have requested the Fisheries Ministry to allocate the Namibia Students Financial Assistance Fund with a fishing quota to financially sustain the student fund, but their requests fell on deaf ears.
The Fisheries Ministry, while we as student leaders for the past 2 years have been saying, please grant a number of fishing quotas to NASFAF so that NASFAF can be a sustainable fund that can fund students' non-tuition and tuition for the sustainable run. Rather, they allocate shares to the Soul Party Youth League, which is an organization that is affiliated to the Soul Party, which runs the cohesive apparatus of the state and our economic resources. So it is actually very disheartening that only those who are connected to politicians and those who are connected to businessmen can benefit from our fishing resources in that regard. But in principle, there is nothing wrong with anybody from any sector of society getting any share of our mineral wealth, whether it be fishing resources or mines and so forth.
The Landless People's Movement Secretary for Youth and Student Command Element, Dumingandala, proposed that a lifestyle audit should be conducted to determine whether alleged nepotism could have played a role in the selection process.
I think one thing that is important is basically a lifestyle audit of these children needs to be carried out. And also, I think as a Namibian, they do qualify to acquire shares because they are all Namibians. I think we should all be categorized on an equal footing. But I mean, if there's any possibility of nepotism, then obviously a lifestyle audit of these children needs to be carried out. We need to go to the drawing board. We need to have
National spokesperson of Nudo's Youth League also weighed in on the matter by describing the fish rot scandal as the tip of the iceberg, adding that there are economy where children of the politically connected elite may have shares in, such as the mining sector.
We are focusing on the fish rot scandal, and it should come to our intentions, that to our mind, that we have also other source of revenue in Namibia, which is the mines. Where are these companies? Who are the shareholders? Obvious that they might also milking the other way around. It cannot be only fish quotas.
Today on One contacted Tunakor to clarify these allegations about the presidential children having alleged shares in the fishing company through their families' trust accounts, and Pea Hitula, the chief executive officer of Tunakor, responded in an email saying that, and I quote, "Please note that our press statement is very clear. In the event that all shareholding of fishing companies operating in Namibia are made public, Tunakor may furnish further details or explanations," end of quote.
Community Voices proudly brought to you by Namdeb Diamond Corporation. Good today, better tomorrow.
Moses Garup Councillor Ali Venonia notes that the rainy weather continues to be a concern to residents in the area, noting that although her office has thus far managed to relocate a few residents who have settled in riverbeds, the rains in the capital city continue to ravage homes of families in her constituency. The councillor says she receives residents daily asking for assistance for improved shelter, having so far relocated 7 of the more than 100 who need to be relocated.
Seeing this in Moses Garup, the whole constituency is in a big problem. Especially now, if it comes to the place where the people have to stay, there's nothing. They have to ask maybe some neighbors, and you know how is the neighbors sometimes. Because the neighbors who are having places, I told them to accommodate others because the situation is not good. And we hear the rain is coming.
Venonia is calling for calm and cooperation from the residents, as a date is still to be decided for residents who will be relocated to Ochumwise.
You see, the problem is not for municipalities, not for the community. Each and everyone, we cannot blame one another. You put your house in the riverbed, yes, because you don't have a place. You refuse to remove the person from the riverbed. What are we going to do now? Because each and everyone is looking at the councillor, and the councillor, I made them understand that the councillor doesn't give land. But I'm the one who's having a responsibility to talk to the relevant authority to help the people.
She adds that she will continue with inspections of affected areas, however appealing to those residents to take the necessary precautions, as the capital is expecting more rains in the coming weeks.
Community Voices proudly brought to you by Namdeb Diamond Corporation. Good today, better tomorrow.
The Namibian National Olympic Committee (NNOC) briefed sport enthusiasts on the Tokyo Olympic Games that were postponed last year due to the COVID-19 epidemic. Despite the epidemic, the Olympic community treated the challenges that came with COVID-19 as opportunities to strengthen the role of sports in the society.
The International Olympic Committee started with an agenda to engage people in sports activities, which they called #Stay Strong, #Stay Active, #Stay Healthy. That campaign was launched last year as part of the response by the sport community and by the Olympic movement, and that was part of the Olympic Day, which was done. And as part of this program, 500 million people were engaged in sport activities during the role of sports for physical and mental health is the main, it's a current way how we are going and how we are encouraging the globe to get active and stay healthy. That part has been effectively implemented, and we are also trying to continue with those things, those approaches to engage the public into this whole process. In the last couple of days, the International Olympic Committee consulted with the international federations, the national Olympic committees, and also with partners and stakeholders. All of them unite and committed to the Olympic Games. So the Olympic Games is going to take place. These stories which we are reading that no, the Games will be cancelled, there is no such story. The Games are going to take place. All 206 Olympic committees are behind the International Olympic Committee. They have committed themselves that they will participate in the Games, they will attend the Games, and the Games will take place.
The NNOC also revised its doping rules, which they have submitted to the World Anti-Doping Agency, WADA.
We are also happy to announce to the media and to the Namibian nation that the anti-doping code has been developed for Namibia, and now as a country we do have an anti-doping code which has been endorsed also by the World Anti-Doping Organization, which means that in Namibia all the sport federations, all the individuals who are partaking in sports need to adhere to the code. We know that we are always, all of us are working towards fair play, we are working towards clean sports. Now that is very important. So through this anti-doping code, we are saying that no doping will be allowed. We will be testing athletes from time to time. We are asking the medical people, the professionals in the country, that if a patient, if an athlete who is a national athlete goes to a doctor or to a nurse for treatment, they need to inform the medical professional that I'm an athlete, I'm a national athlete, I'm participating at international level, representing the country, so that they...
21.
In other leading stories, His Excellency President of the Republic of Botswana, Mokgweetsi Masisi, during his one-day working visit to Namibia, signed, amongst others, a trade and investment agreement with Namibia. The two countries agreed to leverage on the Trans-Kalahari Corridor to create value chains in agriculture, tourism and trade facilitation. Both sides agreed to continue facilitating cross-border trade, including maximizing on the export and import benefits at the dry port at Walvis Bay. In this regard, both sides agreed on the need to fast-track the conclusion of the one-stop border post concept agreement and coming into force of the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement on the 1st of January 2021. Namibia and Botswana also agreed to strengthen their positions by providing success stories on how the trade of ivory benefits the communities at the next CITES Summit. And 48 mentors and mentees will officially kick off this year's Katuka Mentorship Program in Windhoek. Well-known human resource specialist Sabina Reg will conduct the 3-day orientation program. Sponsored by Bank Windhoek, the Katuka Mentorship Program aims to empower and encourage entrepreneurs, businesswomen and professional women in the category corporate professional. In its 20th year, the program has produced significant results in the careers of the participating mentees. To date, 401 entrepreneurs and businesswomen have completed the program. Designed to facilitate the career development of younger women by exposing them to the experience of individuals with established careers, the Katuka Mentorship Program will host its second training session in April and a third in August.
Welcome to Comments Corner, your daily dose of local comments from the hottest social media pages. Botswana has denied Namibia access to the findings on the shooting incident in which 3 Namibians and 1 Zambian national were killed by members of the Botswana Defence Force while fishing in the Chobe River. Blessing said our president sends warnings to his own people rather than telling Botswana to stop killing Namibians. Bassem thanked both presidents and said that he understands and that they cannot be blamed. Ellis said the Botswana president is not being respectful and should not have come to Namibia. Elias said soldiers that committed the killings should face capital punishment. Felix said, "That is my president." Today, On One posted this weekend that the Namibian police force is requesting the public's assistance with information on a suspect wanted for theft. The female suspect by the name of Simaneka Nalitandele Lisbeth Elago is said to reside in Havana. US said helping the police is not a problem, but there is nothing for free, so there should at least be a reward. Kapandu said they should first provide information such as what she stole and the reward. Bantu said people who are building other nations with Namibian money are not referred to as thieves, but a poor lady who may have taken an item that could save the life of a relative is being called a thief. Isaac said petty crimes seem to be a priority for the law enforcement while turning a blind eye on corruption. And that is all from Comments Corner. Be sure to post your comments on our social media pages for broadcast every day only on Today and One.
A look at the weather forecast. The Namibia interior, sunny and hot in the west. Elsewhere, partly cloudy and hot to very hot, with a few showers over the Ottodon-Jupa region, but isolated to scattered thunder showers in the Tumkwe constituency, Kavango East and Zambezi regions. The coast partly cloudy and cool with fog patches, and the wind light to moderate northwesterly. Now we look at minimum and maximum temperatures across the country and beyond.
In a corner of southern Africa lies a vast and sparse land, where endless horizons, dramatic scenery, and untouched wilderness abound. (1,500 kilometers of harsh desert coastline, a mosaic of biodiversity, sub-Saharan savanna, acacia bushland, encased by two deserts. home to wildlife and wilderness abundant, yet ever at risk. This is Namibia, home to some of the most noteworthy conservation success stories across the globe. Initiatives forged, manned, and driven by passionate individuals and groups.
People are busy there walking for more than 45 kilometers a day.
Special species and wild locations under constant threat from an increasingly destructive developing world.
One of the world's true survivors.
This is the story of the Namibian wilderness, the stories of the enigmatic wildlife and natural wonders of her realm.
They are not a threat to anyone, if you understand them.
This is the story of those determined to preserve it, and thereby themselves.
Don't think I want to tell my children one day that we had rhinos in Namibia. I want to show them live rhinos.
This is the story of the last defenders.
We have been tracked them for about 7 days, and on the 7th day, we come across the butchers, and there was a shooting. We are not armed. We having a camera and GPS. We are just hiding behind the bushes. If I don't protect this species, who's going to do that? So is that why I sacrificed my life to go on conserve the rhinos.
Armed out in the field with basically a notebook against poachers that are armed with highly dangerous weapons and more. How is this an equal fight?
I started right on the ground as a tracker, and I worked all the way up to be the CEO now, and I know how hard it is. It's commitment and dedication and the patience that you have for the animal. It's really hard. It's like you had something in your house that you are protecting for so long, and when you go away from home, somebody comes and kills you.
Win free airtime with One Africa TV. Share your comments on the channel. SMS your feedback, name and town to 555. One Africa TV. It just gets better.
I'm feeling so bad because of I have been arrested. We are trying to sell to provide our kids with food, but the police, they come to arrest us.
I was literally apprehended in Independence Avenue. I mean, there was no prior communications with the police or with Bonn or Benga Namibia. These guys literally just apprehended us on surprise.
And when you are talking in a manner that is exaggerated about brutality in this country, I should ask you in which country you live.
Yes, I can confirm that indeed there were 2 cell phones that were found. A search was conducted at the cells that the Fish Road accused are staying.
Do you understand the fight against COVID-19? Could they have spent 300 million on tracing people and managing people? Is that even possible?
Win free airtime with #LearnOn1. Share your comments on the lessons. WhatsApp your feedback, name and town to 081 200 6659. #LearnOn1. Invite learning in.
BBC World News, the biggest African